Hey guys, what's up? It's TerebrAH Gaming here doing a 100% achievement guide playthrough for Farworld Pioneers. The game will take you about 2 hours to get one achievement anyway, so that's probably about the minimum. We're going to start a single player game, going to click the wrench to make a custom world using the universe 147 as the seed. You can leave starting tips on or off, it doesn't matter, and you can create your character how much you want. First up, we're going to press down on the D-pad and left bumper and access the Buddypedia. We need to go through each and every option in this to get an achievement. I'll fast forward this because it might take some time. So once you've gone through all of that, the achievement will unlock and we can keep going on with the rest of the game. So let's loot this drop pod to grab a few items that we may possibly need. A quick way of doing it is holding right trigger and pressing A and using the D-pad to select which one you want. You can change the aiming mode with the left stick by pressing it in. I typically play on manual mode as the automatic mode is a bit finicky sometimes. You can speak to Buddy now and go to the equip menu to take his Buddy teleporter. This is just an item that you can use to get back to Buddy really quickly, which is handy for when we make a base and teleporting back to the base after adventuring out. Now you can press left bumper and go into the cut and chop option. This will allow Buddy to chop whatever you select, or other colonists once you have some. He'll just go and chop everything in that. You can put down a resource stockpile, which we'll do soon, and he'll deposit it automatically in there. So what we're going to do is run all the way to the right, and we're going to make sure peaceful mode is off in the start menu. Sometimes this affects the next achievement. So we're going to head up to this safe house on the right, and the door's going to be locked, so you can just use your pickaxe to mine the door. So once we get here, we can turn peaceful mode off if we can see Weenie is there. You can destroy the wall and the block and the door down below to find Weenie, and an achievement will unlock. We can carry Weenie up to the surface, take him back to our base that we will build very soon. Here we are building using the right bumper button. Now building is a little bit finicky in this game, as you need to place objects either in the foreground or the background. So in the foreground you want to press the A button, in the background you want to press right trigger. Now you can build these yourself. You can place items as well by crafting them by hand in the menu. Or if Buddy has available materials or other colonists, they will take them from a resource stockpile, which you'll see soon, and build it automatically for you, which is super handy. Now my game crashed and I couldn't recover it, so I've had to make a new character. That's why I look a little bit different, and I've gone ahead and made a similar type structure and am waiting for Buddy to build it as soon as I put some wood in. So he's going to take the resources out of there and start building this house. Now once that's done, we want to place a workbench and a smelter. You can also place bedrolls to set your spawn. You just hover over it and press the X button. Now we're going to need to mine down, and you can do that yourself, or you can get your buddy or colonist to do that just through the left bumper menu. In the workbench you can set orders as well to make certain items, and you can fill that yourself if you want, or you can have your colonists do it. Now here's where we're watching Buddy build some things after grabbing it from the resource stockpile, which is super handy. And we can start smelting a bunch of steel ingots, because we're going to need a bunch of them for later on in the game anyway. And to make steel ingots we're just going to need to find iron ore underground. Next up we're going to make a research bench, which is a crucial piece of equipment in this game. Once that's built you can press new project and research a way out, and this is going to give us our next steps to do in the game. And research is completed by colonists, and some colonists are better at it than others. You can check the menu for that. Now you can choose any option here, but I suggest choosing sulfur as we're going to need that. I chose forestry just because I thought it was going to be interesting and useful. And here's the research tree where you will need a bunch of different unlocks for the future in the game. Now that a research is completed, an achievement will unlock, and we can go and start another thing. I chose sulfur here, but you should choose batteries. So next up we're going to grab the Buddy teleporter and head all the way to the left, and we're going to find a colonist on the way, and we're going to recruit them because we're going to need more colonists to help build and gather and mine. Now keep going left and you'll come across a store. This is where you can sell items and buy items. There's a few different types of stores. This is just a weapons one. So we found a few more colonists on the way. We're going to mine all of these scrap metal parts and scrap metal on the way to this underground bunker, because we can turn these metal parts and scrap metal parts into copper and steel ingots, which saves us a lot of mining time towards the end of the game. Head down the ladder and go into the door on the left, and we're going to need to find a bunch of items here. Ideally 10 circuit boards would save a lot of time in the long run. We're also going to find gems, armor, a certain weapon. Now this weapon is the holdout zapper, which you'll see here that I find. This will block projectiles in the upcoming boss fight, which is super handy, so you don't have to keep healing. If you keep heading down on the right side, you'll eventually find this part of the lab where there's this weird looking seal man hybrid kind of guy. He's called a Manseal, and for an achievement here we need to be killed by them. So we're going to press right bumper and place Bedroll down and hover over it and press X to set our spawn. That way we can get this achievement over and done with without having to trek all the way back. Once that's done, all you want to do is just whack him and just let him kill you. He slaps you and it takes a little bit of time. Once that's done, you'll unlock an achievement. Spawn back in and go to your backpack that's on the ground. Just press right trigger and A to loot it all and set up your hotbars again. Now when I was underground, my buddy colonist actually died. I think he was out in a snowstorm. So if this happens to you, that's normal. If not, we will unlock it later on with another achievement anyway. I will go into it. Next up, we're back at the start of the lab up at the top left. and follow this path all the way down to find the lower parts of this base. You need to get here so we can fight the boss, so we can carry on with the story, so we can get out of this planet. So keep heading down. You can loot as you go on. It's pretty dark. You might find a flashlight in one of the chests here, which is really handy. If not, just keep going. We're on peaceful mode anyway, so all the enemies should not touch you. Make sure peaceful mode is still on when you get up to this point in the game. It will help with the boss fight. I've just found a flashlight now, right at the end of the area. So entering this room will start the boss fight. We want to make sure we've got our holdout zapper equipped and some medkits on the hotbar. And the holdout zapper simply just uses ammo, which is universal in all the guns. We're going to make a bedroll here as well, just in case we die, which we shouldn't. It's not that hard of a boss fight, especially with the holdout zapper gun. And we're going to set our spawn by pressing X on the bed. So walk forward and start shooting the big machine in the middle of the room. Keep shooting the machine in the middle of the room, and about halfway through a laser will start firing. Just simply dodge it and keep shooting, healing up as needed. Once that's defeated, it will drop the Data Drive and Superconductor items, which we'll need to research. If Buddy is alive still, you can use the Buddy teleporter to teleport back to him at the house that you built. If not, we're just going to run all the way to the right. Now here is where I find the merchant, and for an achievement we need to make 5,000 Spacebux. So I'm just going to sell a bunch of the gems that we found. Now this achievement unfortunately didn't unlock for me at the time of recording. Here we are back at the house. We're going to start the research for the superconductor, and then we're going to start making a bunch of copper ingots and steel ingots. You can use the scrap parts because otherwise you will need to go underground to find a bunch of the resources. We'll also need gold, but we won't have the materials to make that just yet. We need to do some researching for that. To help with mining, we're going to upgrade our pickaxe by getting a mining pickaxe. It's not very expensive to make, but it will help a lot. And then we're going to head down to where the marble stone is, because we need a few resources from there. So we're going to need to find shale, and once we mine that, it will unlock an option for a mystery to be researched, and we will need to research that in order to make a refinery for making plastic and some other things later on in the game. Also underground, we'll need to find some gold. I'm pretty far underground, so just keep looking around that sort of area. Once back up, the superconductor's been researched. We're going to do the data drive now. That can take some time, so I suggest you build a few more research benches for your people to use. Now once that's done, we can build a landing pad. This is going to need a few resources to build, and it will take a little while, but your colonists can help build it. Now once that's done, we can build a dropship, and this is going to require a bunch of different parts, with the circuit boards being the most difficult. And we're also going to need to have the appropriate things researched. We're going to need to do batteries and plastic. We're also going to need a chemistry lab to be built, because we need to make acid to make gold ingots, and the gold ingots are required to make circuit boards. To make acid, we'll need a bunch of sulfur, which you probably would have found underground. It's pretty regular down there. queue a few up, and then we need to research circuit boards. This will take a while. Once that's done, we can research shale as well after finding shale underground. Now to make circuit boards, we will need a bunch of different things. So we will need to make a refinery so we can make plastic. Once the refinery is done, we need to make some hydrocarbons in order to make plastic. And once plastic is being created, we can queue up a bunch of circuit boards. Now to speed this up, you can make an additional workbench so you can have multiple being made at the same time, because the circuit boards do take a while to create. While we're doing that, we're going to queue up about 70 lots of the bricks for an achievement where we need to climb to the highest point in the game. You would have found a bunch of bricks down underground while mining. Next up, we're going to grab a follower and have them follow you. I would suggest Buddy if he hasn't died, that way you can get 2 achievements at once. And we're going to find some grenades, which we would have found underground, otherwise you can buy that from the weapons dealer. And then we're simply just going to throw it around the buddy or colonist and kill them. Now, once the circuit boards are done, you can add that to the ship and build it. It will take some time. And before we go on the ship for the final achievement, we want to set our spawn and grab all of those bricks that we made. And this was a bit tricky to do. You have to look down with the automatic aiming mode set and jump using left trigger and pressing A at the same time, but you can't hold the left stick down completely. Head back down. If you die, that's fine. You can just find your backpack and equip everything again. Next up, we're going to head to the ship and head inside and go to the front of it. We're going to choose the different planet. We're going to choose initiate launch and press right trigger to turn the key. This will take some time as you travel to a different planet. Once you've landed, you can hop on out, and the final achievement will unlock. Now, you don't have to stay on this planet. You can go back to your previous one by heading back in the ship if you want to keep playing. Otherwise, you can feel free to do what you want on the new planet and travel back later. Hopefully you've enjoyed this guide and have gotten all the achievements without any issues. The achievement for playing over 2 hours on one save file should have unlocked by now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.